non-stop, unrelenting attacks on the Sanatan Dharma.
சிலவற்றை நாம் ஒழிக்கத்தான் வேண்டும், எதிர்க்க முடியாது.
Another DMK leader crosses the Lakshmana Rekha. Compares Sanatan with HIV and leprosy.
மலேரியாவுக்கும் டெங்குக்கும் சோசியல் ஸ்டிக்மா இல்ல, அது ஒரு அருவருப்பா சமூகம் பார்க்காது. எங்களை பொறுத்தவரை HIV தொழுநோயை போல HIV போல சமூக அவலம் நிறைந்த ஒரு நோயாகத்தான் நம்ம பார்க்கிறோம்.
BJP hits back, slams the DMK and the opposition alliance.
कुछ ऐसे लोग हैं जो हमारे सनातन धर्म को चुनौती देते हैं कि नेस्तो नाबूद कर देंगे.
Politics over Sanatan spreads like wildfire, and that's our top focus on India First.
First, Udhayanidhi Stalin, and now A. Raja. From eradicating the Sanatan Dharma to comparing it to leprosy and HIV. The gen next of the Congress leadership, from Karthi Chidambaram to Priyank Khadge, they actually backed Udhayanidhi Stalin's comment. The BJP has now come out all guns blazing, saying hundreds of years of Islamic invasion and the British rule could not eradicate the Sanatan Dharma. But why is the Sanatan Dharma in the line of fire, especially in today's day and age? Is there merit in Yogi Adityanath saying that this is to derail India's growth story? I'm Gaurav Sawant. We get you much more on this big story, but first, as always, the headlines at 10. Prime Minister Narendra Modi back in the national capital after a tour of Jakarta. He's now headed straight to review the G20 preparations and brief his ministers once again. India today scores the first big interview of G20 heads of state. Mauritius Prime Minister praises rising India, hails the dosti, diplomacy and desi pride.
Well, the song Bharat Ka Rane Wala Hoon by Mahendra Kapoor in the film of Pura Bar Bachin, I think is very appropriate right now.
Big showdown over Bengal minority panel. As it has only Urdu-speaking Muslims, BJP lashes out, asks why no Sikhs, Christians, Jains in this committee. Aditya L1 shares stunning selfie with Earth and Moon from space. Indian Space Research Organization announces that the mission has attained a new higher orbit around the Earth. Bumper opening for Shah Rukh Khan's Jawan. Cinegoers storm cinemas. Shah Rukh Khan starrer Jawan makes history in advance booking. First it was Udhayanidhi Stalin and then DMK's A. Raja. He's escalated this attack comparing the Sanatan Dharma to HIV and leprosy, claiming Stalin was actually soft on the Sanatan Dharma. After Congress's Gen Next leaders Karthi Chidambaram and Priyank Khadge backed Udhayanidhi Stalin, the Congress and the opposition India alliance, they've tried to distance themselves from these remarks. The BJP, on the other hand, has hit out both at Rahul Gandhi and at Sonia Gandhi, asking them why are they silent on this repeated targeting of the Sanatan Dharma. Our political bureau brings you a top story.
This remark against the Sanatana Dharma by the Tamil Nadu minister and Chief Minister M.K. Stalin's son Udhayanidhi Stalin has been triggering a massive showdown for the last 5 days. The DMK is not backing down despite the severe backlash from the BJP. The Dravidian party's Dalit face A. Raja, former minister in the UPA government, has scaled up the attack on Sanatana Dharma now.
உதயநிதி ஸ்டாலின் அவர்கள் மென்மையாகத்தான் சொன்னார், மலேரியா போல டெங்கு போல ஒழிக்க வேண்டும் என்று. மலேரியாவுக்கும் டெங்குக்கும் சோசியல் ஸ்டிக்மா இல்ல, அது ஒரு அருவருப்பா சமூகம் பார்க்காது. அருவருவாக பார்க்குற ஒரு சனாதனத்தை சொல்லணும்னா முறைப்படி ஒரு காலத்தில் தொழுநோய் இருந்தது, இப்போ HIV இருந்தது. எங்களை பொறுத்தவரை ஹெச்ஐவி தொழுநோயை போல ஹெச்ஐவி போல சமூக அவலம் நிறைந்த ஒரு நோயாகத்தான் நாம் பார்க்கிறோம். ஒன்று,
The BJP is raising the heat and has questioned the silence of the Gandhis on the comments made by their close allies.
आगे कांग्रेस पार्टी को क्या हो गया है? हिंदू आस्था, हिंदू विश्वास, सनातन धर्म, सबों का अपमान। तो सुन ले सोनिया जी, हिंदू आस्था, हिंदू चिंतन का अपमान नहीं सहेगा हिंदुस्तान।
कुछ ऐसे लोग हैं जो हमारे सनातन धर्म को चुनौती देते हैं कि नेस्तो नाबूद कर देंगे। जब तक एक एक भक्त इस पुण्य धरती पर जीवित है, तब तक कोई ऐसा नहीं जो धर्म को चुनौती दे, कोई ऐसा नहीं जो आस्था को चुनौती दे।
The BJP's fierce counterattack comes a day after the Prime Minister asked union ministers to fight falsehoods and attacks on issues of faith. A Tamil Nadu BJP delegation met with Governor R.N. Ravi on Thursday and sought his intervention over Udhayanidhi Stalin's hate speech. DMK leaders, however, are defiant.
The Honorable President Draupadi Murmu Madam, she was not invited for the opening of the Parliament. Right. That is the best current example. Thank you.
No question of apology.
Somebody is apologizing to me?
They demanding your apology.
No, sorry. I can. This is not an apology to them. This is for your question. Thank you so much.
DMK Supremo and Tamil Nadu Chief Minister M.K. Stalin has accused the BJP of twisting his son's remark. Nearly a week after the comments first triggered a big political war, what appears absolutely clear is that the fight over Sanatana Dharma is all set to be a big political issue going into 2024. With Ramon Magsaysay in Chennai, Bureau Report, India Today.
And Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath, he's come out all guns blazing. He tore into not just the DMK but the opposition India alliance, saying those who make attempts to point fingers at the Sanatan culture, the Sanatan Dharma, will be destroyed. He insists that the Islamic invaders could not do it, the British could not do it. These people will not succeed.
भारत की सनातन परंपरा पर उंगली उठाने का प्रयास हो रहा है, विरासत को अपमानित करने का प्रयास हो रहा है, विरासत के प्रति समाज की दृष्टि को कमतर करने का कुत्सित प्रयास हो रहा है। लेकिन इनसे सब भूल गए कि जो सनातन नहीं मिटा था, रावण के अहंकार से जो सनातन नहीं टिका था, कंस के होंकार से जो सनातन नहीं मिटा था, बाबर और औरंगजेब के अत्याचार से वह सनातन इन तुच्छ सत्ता परजीवी जीवों से क्या मिट पाएगा। आज इनको स्वयं अपने कृत्यों पर लज्जित होना चाहिए।
Let's try and make sense of this targeting of the Sanatan Dharma in today's day and age. And is there merit in Yogi Adityanath saying that this is an attempt to derail the India story, the India growth story? Is this to create fissures in our society, widen the divide instead of getting all Indians together for a stronger nation? Joining me on India First is R.P. Singh, representing the BJP. Sayyad Abbas is a political analyst. He'll give us the DMK perspective on the story. And Dushyant Sridhar is a very well-respected young Vedic scholar. And I want to begin by asking you, Dushyant Sridhar, Sanatan is against social justice and equality is the claim. Sanatan is being compared to corona, malaria, dengue. A. Raja takes it to the next level, saying, Stalin was soft. It's actually like HIV and leprosy. Sir, is the Sanatan Dharma synonymous with caste system in India?
Namaskaram, Gaurav. Namaskaram to my fellow panelists and namaskaram to the viewers of India Today. There is a beautiful saying by Medha Tithi. He is one of the respected commentators in Sanskritam. He says, Yavat samsaram yesha dharmaha. Till the universe lasts, Sanatana Dharma will last. So who are these people who can say that they will abolish, eradicate Sanatana Dharma? That said, Gaurav, etymologically, Sanatana is eternal and perpetual in nature. In that sense, Ramayanam says that respecting the values of treating one's brother, Tyaktva Dharmam Sanatanam in Kishkindha Kanda. Krishnam Dharmam Sanatanam says Mahabharatam. Follow the values of performing your duties. This is Sanatana Dharma, says Mahabharata. Satyam Bruyat, Priyam Bruyat says Shastram. Speak the truth which is pleasing. Yeshaha Dharmaha Sanatanaha. This is Sanatana Dharma. So these are the references that I'm quoting from the Ramayanam, Mahabharatam, Bhagavatam, and Vishnu Puranam, saying that Sanatana Dharma is a huge umbrella. Gaurav will go to the extent of saying even the Buddhist texts, Abhidhamma texts say Attihibikko Akadayam Nattuyetasya Jantuno Sattam in the language Pali. It says even Buddhism is a part of Sanatana Dharma. This is what the text state. I have given you all references stating what Sanatana Dharma means. But in their definition, in the so-called definition by the politicians, Sanatana Dharma is equal to Varnashrama Dharma. Ask him Varnashrama Dharma. Ask him to give me one quotation from any of the Hindu texts which states very clearly that Sanatana Dharma is equal to Varnashrama Dharma. Is there any quotation?
But
they are
saying Gaurav, in practice, sir, in practice, they are saying Sanatan Dharma is caste system, which is unfair to society.
Very good, very good. Gaurav, in that case, every religion will have certain good and regressive practices. Every religion. And needless to say, every religion should come up with reformers time and again to reform. We have Bhagavad Ramanujacharya, Basavanna, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, so many reformers time and again who have come and said, these are the evils that we need to reform. That doesn't mean the entire dharma should be eradicated. In that case, if there are a set group of devout Muslims who state, like how it happened in Iran, that burqa system should be taught again, whether we should have it or not, does it mean Islam should be abolished? Same is the case with Varnashrama Dharma. If discrimination happens, call that person, call that community out. Put them into bars. There should be laws. But saying that Sanatana Dharma itself should be abolished. One last point, Gaurav. If they say that Sanatana Dharma is equal to Varnashrama Dharma, they knew that they will get into a problem. Now they are stating, we did not target Hinduism. We are targeting only Sanatana Dharma, which means Varnashrama Dharma as per us. In case they are not targeting Hinduism, the person who speak, the ideologue of Dravida Kazhagam, Mr. Sri Veeramani, when he spoke before Udhayanidhi, he clearly stated in his speech to his audience that Hinduism is equal to Sanatana Dharma. So he says Hinduism is equal to Sanatana Dharma. Followed by him is Udhayanidhi, who states Sanatana Dharma should be abrogated. Then what is the sense that the person has to make?
Yes, give me a moment, sir. You know, Sayyid Abbas, words of Udhayanidhi Stalin, words of A. Raja taking it to the next level, words of Priyank Kharge or Karthi Chidambaram. Your appreciation, sir, does this or does this not amount to hate speech against the Sanatan Dharma?
Well, Gaurav Sahab, let me be fair and honest to you and also my friend Dushyant, who's a Vedic scholar who will completely agree with me. Karmanya vadi ke raste ma paleshu kadachana. As a matter of fact, this is one of the most beautiful shlokas I've heard from our Sanatana Dharma. And let me tell you, my best of friends are Hindus and they follow the Sanatana Dharma.
Well,
today I'm going to
attempts are being made to eradicate your best of friends with these statements, sir.
Yes, I will tell you, Gaurav Sahab. I'd like to make 2 points here. Very, very crystal clear. First things first, Mr. Udhayanidhi Stalin, never did he mention of any genocide. Never did he mention of any massacre. This is a false spread by the Bharatiya Janata Party. Second point, Gaurav Sahab. Now coming to the Sanatana Dharma, I believe it's a religion of peace, humanity, karuna and daya. You can definitely lodge complaints against him for what he said against, but the fact of the matter is, never did he call for Hindu genocide, never did he call for any kind of a massacre. That is a false propagated by the BJP.
Respond, RP is saying Udhayanidhi Stalin has clarified. He's not called for genocide of followers of Sanatan Dharma. He says, he's pointing out that Sanatan Dharma divides people in the name of caste and religion, and uprooting it is actually upholding humanity.
First, let me differ with the scholar, the Vedic scholar. Sir, Sanatana Dharma is not a religion. I mean, you can't confine Sanatana Dharma or Hinduism to religion. Even the Supreme Court has categorically stated that it's a way of life, and natural and eternal way of life is Sanatana. And then whoever follows that and is a Sanatani, people who believe in idol worship can be follower of a particular religion. People who believe in text can be other part of the Hindu religion.
No, but RP Singh, the problem is, as they point out, with the caste system, very specific, he's saying.
I'll come to that. People who destroy idols, who are Aztec, are also Sanatanis. So there can be Sanatanis from all shades. So problem is that it's not against Sanatan. It's against the whatever Mr. Stalin and his father is backing him up, or Mr. D. Raja is saying, is all a ploy which was decided in Mumbai as part of their hidden agenda, that back in their respective cities, back in their respective political force, you have to start this. Now, my friend says that it was not about abolishing or about eradicating. Oh, that whole the seminar was about eradicating Sanatana Dharma. I mean, the backdrop, the subject of the seminar was that. And as per me, it was pre-planned by these Stalins or by the DMK, so that when they come back, they can start this debate. And this has a timing. I mean, as per me, this has a timing. Timing is G20, so that they can create some sort of ruckus in the society by doing all this.
Abbas, respond.
Give me another second. Give me another second.
No, I'd like to respond.
RP Singh wants to complete his point. Go on, sir.
Please. So it's not only Congress parties, Priyank Kharge and Mr. Kartik Chidambaram or Mr. Parmeshwaram today from Karnataka. Is RJD also supporting the same? SP also supporting the same. So my point is that it's a pre-planned agenda which was decided, and all parties are together in this, including Congress, and they want this to happen.
Quickly respond, Syed Abbas. This is a planned agenda to target the Sanatan Dharma followers and create fissures in society ahead of G20, is the BJP's point.
I absolutely do not think so. This is any planned agenda of the India Alliance. The fact of the matter, if you hear Trinamool Congress leader Mamata Banerjee, if you hear Aam Aadmi Party, allow me to complete, sir. Aam Aadmi Party, Sanjay Singh, many other leaders of the India Alliance have completely called off from their side. They respect the Sanatan Dharma. They've tweeted about it. They've made statement. This must be seen as those respective people who've made the statement. Second point, respected sir, I give you an open challenge today on India Today. Kindly show me a statement, speech or word of Udhayanidhi Stalin calling out for a Hindu genocide. Sir, why are you spreading a false
What is eradication? What do you mean by eradication, sir? Mr. Abbas, what eradication mean? What do eradication mean?
You might try to.
Okay, one by one.
To be eradicated,
one by one. But Dushyant Sridhar,
sir, according to him,
Dushyant Sridhar, hold on, gentlemen, allow me to moderate. Dushyant Sridhar, is this not a flawed appreciation of the Sanatan Dharma? What they're saying when they say eradicate the Sanatan Dharma, are they anti-rituals? Are they anti-Varn Vyavastha or caste system? Or is this creating ill will towards followers of the Sanatan Dharma, as the BJP seems to allege?
Gaurav, namaskaram again. This vilification, disparaging remarks against Sanatana Dharma or Hinduism and against the deities in Sanatana Dharma is not new to DMK. For the last 60 years, there have been many statements issued in the public by their ideologue that I will be bombing the temples of Chidambaram and Srirangam. They had a chappal mala around Rama and Sita and they paraded them in the streets of Salem. So it is not as if the statement is being made to the effect now. And my mother tongue is Tamil. So I can understand the Tamil that was spoken. So, people may say he didn't call for a genocide. He said, Sanatana Dharmatai Vorikka Vendum. Vorikka in Tamil means to leave without a trace. When you say that you have to origify in Tamil, it means you don't leave a trace of it. So what does this amount to? I'm not using the word genocide. I'm not using the word massacre. But what does that mean? Just now, Syed Abbas ji said that I have my friends who are in Sanatana Dharma. Sanatana Dharma is peace-loving in that case. Why did he say Sanatana Dharmatai Vorikka Vendu? Why should I take it from the roots? What did he mean by that? And there is no, it is not as if it doesn't have precedence. In the state of Tamil Nadu, there have been many words to this effect.
And in case there is a problem with Varn Vyavastha, reform, improve. Why talk about eradication? Abbas.
It's a pretext. Sorry, it's a pretext. Give me a second.
Okay, one minute. First Abbas, first Syed Abbas, and then I'm coming to you, Mr. R.P. Singh. Syed Abbas, please go first, sir. Go on.
सवाल मेरे लिए पाजी, thank you. Okay, Gaurav साहब, I completely agree with you and my dear friend Dushyant Sridhar. I really wish Mr. Udhayanidhi Stalin had this kind of articulation to be able to say things better. The fact of the matter, like was mentioned earlier, any religion for that matter, things need to be reformed, changed. There is a way of doing it.
Fair enough. And why just target Sanatan Dharma? The ills are in society, in followers of other religion. R.P. Singh, go on, complete your point, sir.
Well, it's all a pretext. Fact is that they also believe in caste system themselves. How many ministers are there who are from the backward caste in Mr. Stalin's cabinet? Only out of 34, only 2. How many president or the so-called secretaries in their term? In the 60 districts they have only 1. Only 1. So this is the situation. Fact is, this is all the way to build hatred against Sanatan.
Okay, we'll track the story closely. I'm running out of time on this part of the show. But, you know, when you talk about the Sanatan Dharma, do keep in mind, Maryada Purushottam Shri Ram, the soul of our Dharma, his actions symbolize taking everyone together. Isn't that what the Sanatan Dharma is all about? And we will continue tracking the story over the next several days. To all my guests for joining me, many thanks. But I want to leave you on a happier note. Today is Krishna Janmashtami. The country is celebrating Krishna Janmashtami. While we'll get you images from Mathura, the birthplace of Yogeshwar Shri Krishna, and you're listening to Hathi Ghoda Palki, Jai Kanhaiya Lal Ki, I also want to show you images of a Shobha Yatra in Gandarbal in Kashmir. I'll leave you with these images. Have a wonderful Janmashtami.
The new world order starts here. And a rising India is leading the way. A new template for a changing world.
India in the front seat for global peace and prosperity as world leaders line up for the big event.
India Today gives you the only ringside view.
The faces, the voices, the big news breaks. Unrivaled build-up to the G20 summit.
Namaste G20. Continuing coverage only on India Today TV.
Sonia Gandhi has written a letter regarding the calling of the session from 18th September to 22nd September, and she is trying to make politics regarding the calling of the session, actually which should not have been. And there is no question of any politics here. And in the temple of democracy, nobody should, especially the Congress party, which calls itself as the grand old party of the country and which has ruled the country for more than 60 years, they should not try to politicize this issue.
माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी के नाम श्रीमती सोनिया गांधी, चेयरपर्सन कांग्रेस पार्लियामेंट्री पार्टी ने एक पत्र लिखा है, जिसका अभी जवाब संसदीय कार्य मंत्री श्री प्रहलाद जोशी जी ने उनको भेजा है। बहुत ही दुख की बात है कि श्रीमती सोनिया गांधी जी, कांग्रेस पार्टी और विपक्ष ने इसको भी राजनीतिक विवादों में डालने की कोशिश की है। माननीय सोनिया गांधी जी से आग्रह करता हूं कि इस सदन के सत्र में उनकी पार्टी भाग ले।
Over 30 hotels, more than 3,500 rooms. New Delhi gets ready to host the world's most powerful leaders. More than 10,000 hospitality professionals are engaged to serve delegates who arrive to attend the G20 summit. Luxury hotels, including ITC Maurya, Taj Palace, Le Méridien, Shangri-La, are all decked up to host the head of states.
A Rudraksh that you can definitely see is part of the mala, considered to be very auspicious for prosperity and health.
So this is a fusion of Indian tradition and culture.
Absolutely,
in
sir.
the hospitality.
Absolutely. You'll see everywhere in the hotel, the G20 and one earth, one family, one future. This is the motto and this is the vision that I think the country is with at the moment, and we want to continue with this. And I think we are very privileged as a group that after doing G20 meetings in most of our hotels across the country, we are able to host two good friends of our nation.
From comfort to food, Delhi's luxury hotels are leaving no stone unturned to give the leaders the best experience. From Kashmir to Kanyakumari, a famous local dish of each state will be served to the guests.
Mushtaq ji, if you could elaborate this amazing experience that you've set us, and how the people who will be here at Taj, how you guys will be hosting them, if you can explain.
Like, we have got a spread of food which includes Indian, Western, and we have promoting millets also over here. The delegates which will be coming, we are catering to international guests also. So we have incorporated the food, like we have multiple dishes over here. So we are showcasing our Indian food also, we are showcasing the international food also.
A mix of Indian and Western cuisine is finalized. Many of the dishes millet-based, in line with Narendra Modi government's big push for millet. Taj Hotel's head chef Arun Sundarraj, who served several heads of states in the past, says all arrangements are in the place. Vishweta Singh, Anamika Gaur, Ashutosh Mishra and Shreya Chatterjee from Delhi. Bureau Report, India Today.
Dr. Ravi Kannan, a seasoned oncologist, has won the prestigious Magsaysay Award 2023 for his contribution to the health sector. Years ago, Dr. Kannan left his home in Chennai to work amongst the people of Silchar to fight cancer. He's our Good News Today story.
Dr. Ravi Kannan, a renowned oncologist and a hero for holistic healthcare, has helped hundreds of underprivileged cancer patients avail treatment. Assam-based Dr. Kannan, who has been awarded the Padma Shri, has won the Ramon Magsaysay Award 2023 for his contribution in the health sector.
Award मेरे साथ हॉस्पिटल में 450 कोलीग्स हैं मेरे, हमारा सोसाइटी है, यहाँ पे बराबरी के सिटीजनरी है जो हमारा मदद करते हैं। सबका जो मेल है ना, इसके कारण कुछ भी होता है, इसका इस ह्यूमन कोलैबोरेशन का ये रिकॉग्निशन है।
In early 2000s, Dr. Kannan visited Assam as a guest surgeon several times. His life was in Chennai, but after meeting Kalyan Chakrabarti, the head of the Kachar Cancer Hospital and Research Center, Dr. Kannan decided to help people of Silchar fight cancer. But a bigger battle was awaiting him. Myths about cancer. People would come for consultation, but nobody wanted treatment. In 2012, Dr. Kannan performed first surgery and proved the patients can win against cancer.
इतने साल हो गए, किसी ने मेरे से नहीं पूछा आप क्यों आए हो, किसी ने नहीं पूछा आप इधर के नहीं हो, कभी भी। Always look at what will benefit society. अपना बेनिफिट देखेंगे तो इतना मज़ा नहीं आएगा, पर आम कम्युनिटी का मेडिकल बेनिफिट देखेंगे ना, तो at the end of the day बहुत सुकून मिलेगा, बहुत सेटिस्फैक्शन मिलेगा।
Today, Dr. Kannan's hospital in Silchar is considered one of the best for cancer surgeries. Bureau Report, India Today.
The new world order starts here, and a rising India is leading the way. A new template for a changing world.
India in the front seat for global peace and prosperity as world leaders line up for the big event.
India Today gives you the only ringside view.
The faces, the voices,
The big news breaks.
unrivaled build-up to the G20 summit.
Namaste G20. Continuing coverage only on India Today TV.
In politics, everyone has an opinion. But I have the data. Whose stock is rising? Whose graph is falling? Track India's political stock exchange. Unmatched, unmissable data analytics. The only show on News TV where numbers do the talking. India's most credible poll tracker. The political stock exchange with Rahul Kamal only on India Today.
Hello and welcome. I'm Siddharth Zarabi and you're watching this special business roundtable on the economic priorities of the G20 summit. With just a day left for the leaders' meeting, top Indian government functionaries have said there is a strong chance of a consensus on as many as 10 key economic issues, including crypto regulation, climate, and multilateral development bank restructuring, among others. This would clearly be good news for India's G20 presidency. In fact, let's take a look at what is expected on the economic front.
For the past 2 years, India has been pushing for global regulations on cryptocurrencies. Even as Bitcoin prices crashed last year after zooming to $64,000, the finance minister and the RBI have been highlighting what a threat the unregulated digital currencies could be. According to highly placed sources, the G20 Leaders Summit is expected to take up discussions on the way forward for regulating cryptocurrencies. The synthesis paper prepared by the IMF and the Financial Stability Board has laid down a comprehensive roadmap on building blocks for regulating these assets. This will now be taken up for further discussion at the summit this weekend, and there are indications that a consensus is in sight.
India's presidency has put on table in the G20 issues related to regulating or understanding that there should be a framework for handling issues related to crypto assets. Active discussions are happening. Content-rich papers from institutions like IMF, FSB, OECD are all being discussed on various issues, and on crypto, IMF and FSB have also given their synthesis paper.
There is also likely to be forward movement on reforms and strengthening of multilateral banks, in particular the recommendation on the capital adequacy framework. There is also growing support for overall reform of NDBs to articulate the voice of Global South. There has also been progress on the use of digital public infrastructure for financial inclusion. India is the co-chair of the Financial Inclusion Action Plan along with Italy, and will give policy guidelines for G20 financial inclusion initiatives for a 3-year period from 2024 to 2026. Importantly, discussions will also be held on managing global debt vulnerability, which has been a key agenda of India's G20 presidency. Debt vulnerability of 3 countries, including Zambia, Ghana, and Ethiopia, has been addressed under the Common Framework for Debt Treatment. Sri Lanka's debt restructuring is being done outside the framework.
Similarly, global debt distress. Countries are in deep distress, not just less developed countries, but middle-income countries as well. That affects the global financial architecture as well. Even discussions on debt distress under Indian presidency are happening in the G20, seeking global collaboration.
However, differences remain in certain areas, especially tying up climate issues to debt restructuring is registering some pushback from China. Similarly, there has not been agreement with Russia on the issue of assessing the macroeconomic consequences of food and energy security. With Karishma Sudani, Bureau Report, Business Today Television.
And to debate this, we are joined by Dr. Janmejaya Sinha, the Chairman, India at the Boston Consulting Group, Manjeet Kriplani, Executive Director, Gateway House, Ramendra Verma, Partner and Leader of Government Sector at Grant Thornton, Bharat, and our very own Saurav Majumdar, the Editor of Business Today. Saurav, I'm going to come to you. There are actually around 27 subjects which are said to be part of the economic agenda, the finance track of the G20. As we know, 2 different tracks, the Sherpa track and the finance track, of which our colleagues have said that around 10 have seen forward movement. I'm going to pick up the crypto subject right at the top, Saurav, and the question to you is, has India's stance, which has been maintained for almost 2 years and which BT had reported first before anybody else, India wanted a global consensus on crypto regulation, quite in contrast to China, which went ahead and banned the sector completely. Is that now coming correct, and do you see the possibility of a global framework for crypto regulation? Saurav Majumdar.
Thanks, Siddharth. I think that is essentially the case, because India has been saying, and if you see even the RBI governor's multiple statements to that effect, he has of course said that the crypto assets, the crypto trade is a threat to financial stability. It needs to be looked at very, very seriously. In that sense, I think the RBI governor's stance has also been sort of ratified by the discussion paper which has come out today, the IMF and the Financial Stability Board paper. But the more important point which you mentioned is that there cannot be an overall ban. I think that is the very critical point which this paper mentions, and a ban will serve no purpose. In fact, a ban would only lead to excessive financial instability, because it would just make the entire trade go underground. And there is merit, according to the paper, what the paper says and suggests, that there is merit in a broader global regulatory framework to look at the crypto assets. Banning the mining of cryptos is not going to make any sense at this point, because that will just get the trade into a very dark, different territory, and that will become even more difficult to control. So therefore, I think a ban is clearly not on the agenda if this paper is to be taken at the G20 Leaders Summit. And I think the broader consensus is going to be that there is no point, because you can't regulate technology which is upon us. You can't wish away technology which is upon us, Siddharth. Technology will always be ahead. Regulation has to then follow and then create a framework with guardrails. I think that's what we are seeing across the board, not just in crypto. And that's the point which I think is emphasized in this paper as well.
Absolutely, and I'm reminded of what Prime Minister Modi has said in the past overall as far as innovation and adoption of a technology culture is concerned. And Dr. Sinha, I'm coming to you on the broader message that would come through. Of course, I must also tell our viewers that The paper and the inputs and the recommendations are likely to be crystallized around October. There is another meeting that will happen in Marrakesh of the finance ministers and central bank governors, where the crypto roadmap will come. But Dr. Sinha, crypto regulation likely to be one of the biggest achievements of the G20. India will take pride in the fact that it has pushed through a global framework in this regard. How would you respond to that?
So look, I mean, first we need to understand what crypto is. Crypto is based on blockchain, and the future of blockchain is going to be quite determining as we go further in the developments around technology. There are many elements around that which will be a core and fundamental area which will lead to a lot of developments, including cross-border trade, etc. So firstly, we need to just distinguish a few of the terms which are around there, central bank, digital currency, crypto. Crypto right now, which is more of an asset rather than a medium of exchange. We just need to recognize that and has been used in that frame. The other thing is that the world is in some ways fragmented, and it is important that India, during India's presidency, something like this will advance.
Manjeet Kripalani, I'm coming to you not on specific technical aspects of crypto regulation, but the broader point. China went ahead, banned it. India has, in fact, in some ways struggled with how to regulate and come up with a framework. And to repeat, over the last 2 years, we have seen several statements from the government of India and off-record briefings saying, hey, listen, we can't throw the baby out with the bathwater. In the context of China's claim to global leadership, South leadership, how would this development be as far as India's contribution to a global agenda is concerned?
Well, first, India has already contributed to the global agenda because we've got digital public goods